drilled. Deep left field. Gone!
Sweep on the line in lovely Michigan this afternoon. It's a quick turnaround as the Sox put up 15 runs yesterday to power past the Tigers. And today the 3-game sweep is on the line at Comerica Park. And with that 15-run effort, the Sox are now 4th in Major League Baseball with 6 of them in double figures so far this year. Win number 40 just happened yesterday, and looking for 41 is Carlos Rodon, presumptive All-Star, 12 strikeouts against the Tigers on April the 29th. He will face Oak Forest's own Kyle Funkhauser in his first Major League start. We thank you for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, a very minty Steve Stone today. Look, the Sox to 40 wins yesterday, second team in Major League Baseball to 40 wins.
Well, it's pretty amazing because everybody says, well, the schedule is easy or you're not playing the tougher teams. But the reality is you have to beat the teams you're playing. The Sox have been able to do that. Somewhat amazingly, with all of the injuries, the Sox have remained afloat. So you see the on-base percentage that leads the major leagues and runs surprisingly 3rd in the major leagues. The team ERA has been very good all year long. That leads the American League. And when you look ahead, it's the second easiest remaining schedule in the AL by winning percentage of the teams currently winning. So we'll have to see how it plans out, but eventually the walking wounded are going to come back, and when they do, this team is going to be even a lot tougher than they are right now.
Very resilient team will turn to Carlos Rodon to start on a Sunday. He has been outstanding in a career renaissance, including a no-hitter this year. We'll dive deeper into Carlos when we come back.
White Sox baseball on NBC Sports Chicago is brought to you in part by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Choose Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, the card to carry through it all. The 2021 Ford F-150. It's tougher and smarter than ever before with the tools you need for on-site capability. Check one out at your local Ford dealer today. Xfinity Mobile. Get nationwide 5G on the fastest, most reliable network. Only with Xfinity Mobile. And by Wintrust, home of White Sox checking. Visit wintrust.com/Sox to open today.
Carlos Rodon has made 10 starts this year. In 8 of those 10, he's allowed 1 earned run or 0 earned runs. He is an all-star through and through for the Sox.
There's no doubt he's been wonderfully consistent. He's got a repeatable motion. He's throwing everything in the zone. The control has gotten great. But more than that, he's learning to win with less than his best. So Jason already told you those numbers, and they are lofty numbers. When you put together a run like that, you've got to wind up in Denver. That's where the All-Star game is, and hopefully Carlos will be able to do that. More importantly, they're going to monitor his innings, make sure that they don't pile up, because basically over the last couple of years he hasn't thrown all that much. What he is throwing this year is absolutely unhittable. He's been really happy, as you would expect. And when you have your great stuff, you usually dominate the opposition. He's able to pitch really competitive baseball games without his great stuff.
See what he does against the Tigers as the Sox and Tigers spar once again. Can we see another smile cross the manager's face after a 3-game sweep? We'll find out together after this. Oh, awesome. Our plays of the week brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Audi dealers. Sweep is on the line. Sox are in sole possession of first place entering June 13th for the first time in 9 years. And we'll try to keep that up as the Sox will take on the Tigers. Oh, sweep to my LaRue.
Pretty good. Very creative.
I like that.
82 degrees.
You're good.
Humidity. Yeah, the
Keep on
humidity's
going.
okay today.
Let's tell you about our Insure on the Spot starting lineups.
Go get them.
Thank you so much. Get your free auto insurance quote and save in just 2 minutes at insureonthespot.com. I like Sweep to my LaRue so much, I just didn't know what else to say.
Very good. You got frozen. Yeah,
You picked
look
me
like
up.
a deer with headlights.
Can't hold it back anymore. Career Sunday slugging percentage. Brian Goodwin, very nice, 495. Jose Abreu, Yasmani Grandal, 476, 456. Tim Anderson gets the day off today. And so Leori at the top of the card.
We've seen Kyle Funkhauser a lot. We've always seen him as a reliever, however. He's had a pretty good year this year. ERA of 2.70, 16 2/3 innings, 7 walks. That's not good. Right-handers haven't handled him at all. Left-handers have handled him pretty well. So that's what he's going to throw. He loves the sinker. He loves the slider. Those are basically, make him a 2-pitch pitcher, the 4-seamer on occasion, the changeup not very much. He's got a good fastball. I mean, the 4-seamer tops out at 96. So the question is, for A.J. Hinch, how long does he go today? I guess that determines not necessarily the innings, but how many pitches he throws. So you can't very well play with an open gate, which is really not a good thing to do. Eventually they're going to close it. However, if Leuri hits it in there, he could probably run for a long time.
I was going to say Robbie Grossman would have to just
keep on running
the ball all the way down the tunnel.
Kind of like a Joe Hardy thing. You chase the ball there and then just disappear and go to lunch.
Wow.
The defense for UI Health, this is how A.J. Hinch puts them out there with Haas, Cameron, and Grossman in the outfield, Paredes, Goodrum, Castro, and Castro in the infield. Jake Rogers has got the plate.
And the first pitch goes to shortstop. Nico Goodrum has out number 1. And Brian Goodwin will come up. First inning brought to you by Toyota. Wasn't it the Meadowlands that if they left a gate open or something like that, there'd be different wind shear for field goal kickers, or if you kicked one way toward a tunnel, there'd be a different sort of wind pattern for kickers?
I'm not sure about there, but I know in our ballpark, when they put up some panels, it really changed the wind direction. It changed how the baseball flew.
Joe Group says the Metrodome. I'm thinking about also that home run Nomar Mazara hit in Texas. Remember the paneling got torn apart by the thunderstorms the night before?
That could very well have done it. Otherwise, it goes 200 feet.
Yeah.
But 503 feet without those panels.
What grade did you get in physics? 1 ball and 1 strike to Brian Goodwin, who had a tremendous Sox debut yesterday with a double in his first at bat, a home run in his second, and 5 knocked in. And no, I didn't give you room to respond to that.
I needed some room. It was a long game yesterday.
Yeah, 347.
However, it was very good for the offense. Not so good for Tiger pitching, which necessitates a bullpen day today. Then there were a lot of changes in the lineup, and certainly on the Tiger side of the equation, which makes for a hugely ugly scorebook.
Yeah, we lead the league in liquid paper the last couple of days. It's 3 balls and a strike on Goodwin. Look, if you're in that Tiger dugout, you'd like to have Jonathan Scope. He was scratched out of the 2 spot with hand soreness after being hit by the pitch yesterday. And there is ball 4 from Funkhauser to Goodwin.
That's been really the one hole in Kyle's game, is the fact that he can't consistently get the ball over the plate. When you're putting on major league hitters ahead of 3, 4, and 5, usually it costs you. Let's see if the Sox, who've had a habit during this really run of very good baseball, of jumping on top.
Here is Moncada, who didn't play yesterday. He did walk and drive in the winning run on Friday night. We mentioned Funkhauser making his first start in Major League Baseball. He was an outstanding starter, not only in Louisville, but also at Oak Forest High School. I mean, his junior year at Oak Forest, he had a .83 ERA. As a senior, that dropped to .65.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, grew up a Sox fan. Family of Sox fans.
I would be willing to bet, as you take a look at the young Funkhauser, I'd be willing to bet that just about every one of those relievers in the major leagues were dominant starters coming up, or they wouldn't be in the major leagues. It's just that, it's degree of success once you get to the highest level.
Called a strike. Good call. 1-2 on Moncada with Goodwin at first.
Yuan with the off day yesterday has to respond today during a day game, which sometimes for him is not an easy thing to do.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Moncada. He is not the type of guy who's going to chase out of the zone. You're more likely to get him to take strike 3 than to chase strike 3.
Well, if he stops swinging at high fastballs, he's probably going to be in good shape.
Almost hit him in the back foot. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Now the Tigers yesterday walked 11 Sox hitters.
And the Sox took big advantage of it. The question is, do you run with Goodwin here? Goodwin's got pretty good speed.
He goes, and Moncada lashes it foul.
Trying to protect, he swung at ball 4, and Goodwin was off to the races. You saw Rogers getting up in a position to throw the ball, only to see it lined down the left field line. Darrell Boston over at first. And Harold Castro, a late insertion into this lineup.
Yeah, he was supposed to have the day off against the lefty Rodon, but Scope was scratched. Safe at first base. Goodwin, you just heard the organ in the ballpark play. If you're happy and you know it, that was a good choice not to play yesterday right around the 8th inning. There he goes again, 3-2, and Moncada chops it slowly to second base. Castro to Castro. Goodwin to second. Told you about Kyle Funkhauser, former Oak Forest Bengal. He is one of a handful of guys who have come through that program, including Tim Burdack and Jason Frazier, who spent quite a bit of time in Major League Baseball, starting with the Blue Jays.
Yeah, Jason had some really good moments in the major leagues. Now Kyle Funkhauser picks up the mantle and runs with it. I know part of the Burdack family.
You do?
Yeah. That was part of the Jack Ruby family by extension.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
2 out. Called a strike on Abreu.
I'm glad that. Well, it's nice to put his name up there because Jack, I'm sure, watches every game, and his daughter married a Burdack. I believe Scott Burdack.
How about that?
Yeah. Small world, huh?
Smaller and smaller as the days go by. 0-1 from Funkhauser. To third, Paredes. And that will do it for the Sox on 3 ground balls in the first inning. Your serve, Carlos Rodon, next. The ball game behind those sunglasses. No score, bottom of the first inning. Great to see more Sox fans at Comerica Park in the Insure on the Spot starting lineup. Get your free auto insurance quote and save in just 2 minutes at insureonthespot.com. Career slugging percentage on a Sunday. You don't often see a lineup where 2 of the 9 guys don't have anything on a day of the week, but that's the case for the Tigers with the late scratch from Scope that installs Castro into the lineup, a left-hander.
Carlos Rodon on for his 11th start. His record 5-2. 5-2 doesn't really tell you just how dominant he's been. His ERA under 2, but look at the strikeouts, 88 and 59 and 2/3. The walks terrific at 15. Left-handers, right-handers, it doesn't matter. And last time out against the Blue Jays, where he struggled but made huge pitches when he had to. The four-seamer he leaned on, the slider wasn't near as good as it has been. I expected it to be back today. And the changeup depended on it 16 times.
First pitch is a strike to Robbie Grossman, who's 3 for 8 in the series. He was 2 for 4 yesterday. Tigers come in 14 games back of the Sox, 26 and 38, and that's their 0-2.
Pat Hoberg behind the plate today. Ben May is at first, Chris Conroy is at second, and Andy Fletcher is at third base. Pretty decent job this umpiring crew has done in this series.
Pat Hoberg, typically a very highly rated umpire out of Des Moines.
It's a good spot, Des Moines.
You like it?
I have never been there, but a lot of people that I interact with either live there or spend a lot of time there. I have a huge contingent of Iowans that come to Arizona in the wintertime.
There's that slider. As we're watching the slider today, what tells you it's a good slider day for Carlos?
Well, it's very rare that this year that he's had 2 bad slider days in a row. And the slider wasn't bad last time. It just came to him a little bit later. So I assume that that's one of the things he worked on during his side session between starts. We're going to see another one here.
That was there. Yeah. Strike 3. Grossman didn't like it. That was in the zone. A nasty slider. Grossman was mad yesterday about the strike zone. Hoberg got that one right.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Grossman was mad yesterday, he shouldn't be mad at this because this is an unhittable slider. And that one had the whole zone. Now, granted, where Collins caught it, it wasn't a strike, but it came over the plate. I mean, that's as good a strike as you can expect on a wipeout slider. Carlos certainly liked it, and that's the kind of slider we're talking about. If he has that one, it's going to be a tough day for the right-hander.
I like Carlos's reaction. Yeah, it was a strike. I don't know what you're looking at. Yeah, it was.
Well, when Robbie goes in, and Robbie's got a good eye, but when he goes in and takes a look at that again, he'll realize that jumping on Pat Hoberg wasn't the play.
There's a curveball from Carlos, a pitch he's added this year. That's his 22nd curveball, and still it's not been put into play this year. He's used it as a strike getter.
Yeah, I don't think it's put into play because when you do a game plan to face Carlos, first thing you say is, okay, try not to swing at that wipeout slider. His fastball is anywhere from 94 to 98, and he throws the occasional straight change. You just don't even think about the curveball.
He jumped into his release on that slider, 2-foot stomp.
He was absolutely psyched up about throwing that one. We've seen Cameron, when he does generally make contact, it usually is off field.
Into right there. Out number 2. Adam Eaton makes the catch.
Our UI Health defense, and this is how Tony La Russa puts them out there this beautiful afternoon. It's Brian, Adam, and Adam in the outfield. They got 2 Castros, we got 2 Adams. Yohan, Danny, Leary, and Yasmani in the infield with Zach Collins behind the plate and Carlos Rodon on the hill.
We got Adam 12.
We do. He's the only remaining guy from the original starting outfield, although it was thought that it was going to be Eaton and Engel in kind of a platoon situation. But obviously the injuries have necessitated that hasn't really happened. And now they're both in the same outfield.
And likely will be for some time. First pitch, high fastball, strike 1 to Miguel Cabrera from Carlos Rodon.
You know, you look at that batting average, you just have to shake your head at 203 for Cabrera. But in the times that we've seen him, and we've seen Detroit a lot lately, he's been swinging it pretty well.
On the changeup, Moncada, nice grab for out number 3. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Rodon. Yasmani's been hitting the ball very hard. He will come up to start the 2nd inning when we come back. last 23 games for Yaz have been tremendous. 8 home runs, 23 walks, a slugging percentage at .607. He actually is now the exit velocity leader on the Sox. He's hitting the ball hardest on average.
Well, he's starting to really feel good about it, and the legs are great. Just when you promo the hard contact, he pops it up.
Fly ball after a video box and a warm embrace.
I will say that you're one of the best video box men I've ever seen.
Thank you so much.
I mean, you were exceptional on that last one.
I went home last night and I started prepping my video box narration. And here we are.
And here you are.
So the second inning's brought to you by Menards. He's Steve, I'm Jason. We thank you for joining us. For a scoreless draw in the second inning, Sox are going for the sweep of the Tigers this lovely afternoon. And there is strike one from Funkhauser.
So far, he's kept these pitches to a minimum. He did walk Goodwin in the first inning. Outside of that, he's had no difficulty whatsoever.
So we told you Cleveland came back to win yesterday. So the Sox are up 4.5 in the division. Cleveland is home once again today for Seattle. That is Shane Bieber on the hill for Cleveland. That's Tony La Russa hiding from us. Logan Gilbert on the hill for Seattle this afternoon. Little cue shot to third, Paredes. Cleveland's playing Baltimore while the Sox are playing the Rays. So that's not the greatest.
But is Cleveland going to Baltimore?
Nope.
Well, then that's not the greatest. I've heard that somewhere.
Yeah.
Going to be a good series, obviously, with the Rays, and chance to come out and watch a couple of the best baseball teams in the game going head to head.
It's the two top teams in the American League right now.
They're just built different ways, but both exceptional teams, and both teams can really pitch. And that's been the key to the success of both of these groups.
Oh, 2 on Engel. Tampa Bay has the 3rd best bullpen ERA in the league, the 8th best starting ERA, and you see the division leads in the American League. Sox by 4.5, Rays and A's each by 2. That AL West 2-team race and may grow into 3 depending on the Angels. Those two teams are going to jockey back and forth all year.
Well, right now, I'm not sure there's too many teams want to play the Angels because they are really playing good baseball. They're starting to hit.
1-5 in a row as Engel lines this to right field, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Funkhauser. He's pitched very well so far. We're scoreless to bottom 2. StatCast, as per normal, presented by Google Cloud. This is the strikeouts on Carlos Rodon's nasty slider, 46 of them. And the one in the first inning today to Robbie Grossman. Our player profile presented by Geico, Make It Easy, is the value of that slider according to StatCast. He has a top 5 slider in Major League Baseball, even though he does have the best batting average allowed against his slider for all starting pitchers. There's a changeup for a strike. Now the changeup is a little bit of a work in progress as his 3rd pitch.
But I love the fact that he uses it on the first pitch, and the reason being that nobody's looking for it.
Vaulted high into the Detroit sky. Garcia makes the catch. All right, when you look at batting average against an individual pitch, which Leori gets a kick out of, he gets a kick out of everything. Carlos Rodon actually has the lowest batting average against any given pitch in Major League Baseball entering play today.
We're going to probably see Luis Garcia as we take on Houston for 4. Brian Shaw throws a cutter every pitch, has probably for the last 22 years. And Darvish, when we saw Darvish last year, I mean, all he was doing was cutting, and it was absolutely amazing because he loves it and doesn't seem to have any arm problems with it. But boy, that is a tough one. But you just don't lay on Carlos's slider very often.
That was one of my favorite games from last year. The Sox ended up losing, but Dylan Cease versus Yu Darvish was a joy to watch last season.
Well, I would really hope we see it again this season, because if we do, it's the finale.
Yeah, it'll be in the World Series.
It will be in the World Series.
Unless somehow the Padres decided that they were going to trade Yu Darvish in the middle of a pennant race.
Yeah, I don't think that will happen anytime soon.
1-2. Oh, yeah. Strike three, 97 to the outside corner. The fastball command is great.
I think Carlos is starting to feel it after last time out when the stuff did not come to him till about the third inning. This time the stuff is really good. I mean, the slider is crackling. The fastball is a little bit better with late life than we saw it last time out. And you can't have your great stuff every day, except if you're Jacob deGrom. But Carlos is getting there.
Little bit outside to Isaac Paredes, playing third base today for the Tigers. Got some power in that bat we've seen in the series with a home run, and now 2-0 on Paredes.
He wants to try to make an impression while he's getting an opportunity. We saw him briefly last year. Jeimer Candelario is on the bereavement list. Odds are overwhelming he's going to come back, and when he does, well, Paredes doesn't figure to get a whole lot of play, but if he shows him he can hit it, he might.
3-0 on Paredes. Fastball command's gotten a little sketchy on Carlos to batter number 6 here.
Well, A.J. Hinch likes to give the 3-0 green light. I think I would give it to Paredes, who has home run power. We've seen that in this series, and also, you know, you're going to see a fastball.
Three and one.
Even if you had the 3-0 green light, you're not swinging at that one up and away.
Three and two, 5 straight fastballs, full count. He walked him. Willie Castro will come up, and your 2021 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate. Learn how you can turn your belief in a new home into action at rate.com. If you believe, you will. Time's running out to secure a ticket package for this season. Visit whitesox.com for more information today. One on, 2 out, Willie Castro, and Carlos a glance at first. Changeup for strike one. Why do you think he threw 6 fastballs to Paredes?
I think the book probably says with Paredes, throw the fastball middle in and you can throw it by him. He just couldn't hit his spot.
Popped up. First base. Grandal can't get over there.
Well, that's a play that Leury has to make if he can get there. Now, most likely he was shaded up the middle, and that was a long run. But for a first baseman who's not named Abreu, that's almost an impossible play. Jose makes it look easy because he goes back, drifts into foul territory, then makes the over-the-shoulder catch as well as any first baseman in baseball. So you've got to depend on your second baseman, but I think that was a long run for Leury, who does have good speed but couldn't get there, and it means that Castro has another life. And there is Jose. Can't catch him from the bench, but normally if he's in the game, he does catch him. That's what Tim is probably telling him. Yeah, you get those. What are you doing on the bench?
To shortstop, Danny Mendick feeds Garcia, and the inning is over. Walk does no harm. We'll go to the third, no score. Story presented by Mattress Firm. Our big story today is what the Sox are on pace for. 92.5 wins, 826 runs, be the most in 15 years. The team ERA, especially in this era of baseball. And I know offense has been a little hazy this year, but 3.21 ERA would be the best since 1972.
Starting pitching has been remarkable. The bullpen in spots has been terrific. If they shore up those other spots, then it's going to be a completely unhittable pitching staff.
Zach Collins swings at strike one. Third inning presented by Hyundai.
Del Funkhauser has very good stuff today, and he's by and large throwing it around the plate.
Zach goes after a fastball, and there's the first hit of the ball game for either team. Zach Collins on a heater off the plate, singles to right.
Doesn't get a whole lot of it, and the reason why it was a base hit was because Rogers wanted it up and Funkhauser got it waist high, so Zach was able to handle it. They're giving him a little heat apparently, but pretty happy with that at bat.
Think he's being razzed?
Could very well be.
Danny Mendick might have been doing some of the razzing actually from the on-deck circle with that smile he's got on his face. First pitch, sinker, ball one. Funkhauser really is a two-pitch pitcher. I mean, he throws a four-seamer as well, but it's 48% sinker, 29% on the slider. That accounts for 77%. Changeup 8% of the time.
When he comes in as a reliever primarily, you're not going to throw that many changeups. Alexander loosening in the pen, so he's going to go righty-lefty, which thwarts the unbalanced lineup.
Well, that's the plan at least.
It is the plan.
You wouldn't imagine Tony would use Anderson at all in the game based on what he's done typically in terms of giving somebody a day off. You could see a scenario where he let Mercedes hit late in the game if there was a spot that came up, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, you're not going to put him in early because you've got in the lineup, you've got switch hitter left, switch hitter right, switch hitter, then left, then right. And so, you know, it's not, you don't have a succession of one or the other.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Danny Mendick.
But the reason why Funkhauser is primarily a two-pitch pitcher is being a reliever and usually not facing a lineup for the third time. You really don't need 3 pitches very often if your 2 are good 2 pitches.
Sinker exploded and 1 down.
Follow our Sox insider Vinny Duber at NBC Sports Chicago.com, presented by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Get to enjoy knowing the Vuk as much as you do the jingle at jeffvuk.com, because Nationwide is on your side. Short turnaround, early day.
Key change in
We'll
there
get
somewhere.
we'll get him tomorrow, though. A key change?
There was a key change.
I only have 1 key.
For your car?
Sometimes, yes.
Here's Garcia. That's the changeup from Funkhauser.
Pretty much kept his pitches to a minimum. I mean, we're talking about 30 pitches, and he's an out deep here in the 3rd inning. That's not labor intensive.
That is exactly what A.J. Hinch needed after yesterday's festivities. Whatever a joy is for somebody managing a bullpen, that was the opposite for Fetter and Hinch yesterday. But to their credit, they picked the right position players. Rogers and Castro, well, Castro specifically. Rogers gave up a couple runs, but Castro went 1, 2, 3 in the ninth.
Well, he started Urania, and when you depart in the second inning, then you're taking a look at that card, seeing who's warmed up, who's pitched recently. What can I do to get an inning from somebody or 2 innings? And he emptied out the bullpen, and unfortunately for him, Burrows got sick. That wasn't particularly good. But they want to make sure that he's entirely healthy, so they sent him down to the minor leagues.
Yeah, he got shipped to Toledo.
Yeah, that's a really short ride. That's about what, 8 minutes, 9 minutes?
That one's about what you think Chicago to Detroit is. On the ground at second base, they will get the lead runner, Zach Collins, and Garcia with a second ground ball this afternoon. And time now for JC Restoration's cleanup hitter. You want somebody who cleaned up? It's Brian Goodwin yesterday from the 2 spot in the order. First player in team history to have 5 knocked in his first game with the Sox. And they were fanning him down.
Well, that's going to be it for Funkhauser, who was really good today. I mean, he gave A.J. Hinch exactly what he needed. He will depart this game. Should get a big hand from the loyal fans in Detroit. Kyle Funkhauser. Not sure if you know this, but he's a local area boy. He's going to depart this game, go back to Chicago, and see the folks.
Like Kipnis.
We'll be back. Lakeside Bank called to the pen. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. And Tyler Alexander comes into this one on for the 18th time. He's got a couple of holds. His ERA, his fours are wild. 26 in the third innings, 26 strikeouts. That's good. Only 6 walks. Control has been very good. He doesn't miss that many bats. He pitches to contact. So, yet you consider averaging 9 strikeouts per 9 innings, even in the early going. That's pretty impressive. And he inherits Leary Garcia on the base paths, and there's 2 outs.
And here's Brian Goodwin, who actually has a career on-base plus slugging that's better against left-handers than he is against right-handers. He has reverse career splits. Alexander's going to check on Garcia first.
Any left-hander will tell you that the key to hitting a left-hander is keeping the right shoulder in. And that's what they all work on. If you fly open with the right shoulder, you got very little chance at anything away. Pretty nice outing. He got his ball club into the third inning with 2 outs.
Delayed call on a strike. Might have had a little bit of the zone. Alexander has given up 7 home runs already. A decent season so far. Cutter 0-2. Struck him out on a slider, so Alexander comes in and strands 1. We're scoreless through 2.5 in the series finale. Hashtag postcards from Detroit. Use it. Show us your pictures from Detroit visiting for a Sox game or otherwise. Derek and family sold their Al Kaline bobbleheads for lunch. How about that? There's always a market. This is from Alyssa Banks, summer 2009. Sox fan helping to sell beer at Comerica Park. Tim homered. Sox won 8-4. That's from Jeremy Anderson. Nicely done. Is that Mickey Mouse?
Got the Detroit Mouse.
The Detroit Mouse?
Yeah, I'm not
Any
sure.
Any relation to Mickey?
Not sure if you can legally use Mickey, but might be Mike Mouse.
Mike Mouse? Yeah. Strike 1 to Rogers. Maybe this is your own postcard from Chicago, from Detroit, for some fans from Chicago. What's it called? Postcards from Detroit is what I was trying to spit out there.
I think so.
Thanks. I only say it like 3 times a game, but you know what? 2 strikes on Rogers, who is he's 6th all time in home runs for guys who went to Tulane. There have not been a lot of hitters coming through Tulane to play Major League Baseball. Number 1 is Ed Morgan with 52 Major League home runs.
Ed Morgan.
Ed Morgan. Bobby Brown 2nd. Brian Bogusevic 3rd. Chicago guy, Brian Bogusevic. Andy Sheets, Micah Owings, Jake Rogers already in 52 games is 6th for guys who went to Tulane.
Well, let's have him climb up the leaderboard when we're out of town. Here's going to be a slider, and if he gets it down and in, no home run.
Okay, strike 3, 1 gone.
He'll have to wait to climb up that leaderboard till he's facing someone else with a slider that he can actually hit, because not too many people are hitting this one. See, great tight spin and just dives out of the zone. It's really hard to square that up. Sometimes it's really hard to make contact.
But you've said it before, because Carlos is getting ahead in the count more, he's more able to use it.
It's that much more dangerous a pitch.
Harold Castro on a fastball lifted to left. Brian Goodwin out number 2.
ComEd offers bill credits and extended payment plans to help pay past due energy bills. So call 800 Edison 1 to see if you're eligible.
Did you say call?
Call.
I thought you said cool. I thought you were on Long Island.
I do that. Yeah, I do that when we play the Yankees in New York. But you know what? We've been there already, and we'll have to wait till next year, because the next time we see them will be the game that's wrapped around the Field of Dreams game, which is going to be really exciting.
Oh, it's going to be a thrill for the players. I know a lot of guys are excited about it. Major historic game, and we were looking forward to it last year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be terrific. Yankees coming to town, get to play on the Field of Dreams, get to eat a lot of corn. Very nice. You a big fan of corn?
Love corn. To right field, Robbie Grossman. Aw, shucks.
Want to get into that when we come back?
Proving once again there's more than corn on White Sox telecast.
Years ago, I was lucky enough to go see the White Sox play in Detroit at Comerica Park, and at one of the games I sat near this dude named Corey, who was a huge Tigers fan, and all I could do was trash James McCann, called him a dollar store catcher despite the fact that he was an all-star that year. So to Corey and all the cocky Tigers fans in Detroit, I hope you enjoy watching your team be so scared of the White Sox that they're throwing up on the field, and I hope you enjoy watching the Sox win the division this year. Here's today's Sox Math question.
Whoa, Steve firing off on the Sox Math video, and this is a leadoff double for Yoan Moncada. All it took was for some fiery Steve Sox Math video commentary to get the Sox into scoring position.
Yoan takes a look at a first ball fastball and takes it right down the line. You know, against a left-hand pitcher who really doesn't have a big fastball. Alexander has a good fastball. It's not a great fastball. Paredes was off the line. Yoan took it right down the line, and he represents the first run of the ball game by either team. So it's time to try to cash him in.
Yeah, you got the left-hander here, Abreu at the plate. Jose takes a strike this inning, brought to you by Elk Grove Village, supporters of the American Dream. Learn more at makerswanted.org. Seattle's taking a 3-0 lead on Cleveland.
Yeah, we saw yesterday that might not be enough.
I knew you were going to say that.
No,
I knew
you
were
didn't, because you just said it first.
Probably, yeah. Jose takes inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, the one thing about that cutter to a right-hand hitter, if they do make contact, almost without exception, they're going to pull the ball. With that in mind, once again, Paredes is well off the line at third.
Big rip and a cutter downstairs, 1-2.
That's the one place lately where you see Jose get over anxious, and that's on pitches low and out of the zone. Kind of goes in streaks. He'll go in streaks where he lays off that, and when that happens, he hits the ball hard, starts with hitting the ball to right field, and then goes from there. But then he goes through other streaks where he swings at a lot of pitches down that are not strikes.
Sox fans chanting MVP at Comerica Park.
It's a good thing to do.
Jose got a very small piece of that changeup.
Able to stay alive on another pitch that was down and out of the zone, and Jose just thinking, I wonder why I'm swinging at those. Shake my head. Can't figure it out yet. He will. He's good enough to figure out just about everything that he does that he's not happy with when he's swinging the bat.
Ball and 2 strikes. Clip foul again by Abreu. That was that cutter inside one more time. He'll see his 7th pitch. Alexander to Abreu on 1-2. Jose to right field on a high fastball. He's got himself a base hit. Moncada's coming home. Throw to the plate is knocked down, and the Sox have taken the lead on an RBI from Abreu on a ball that might have been above the strike zone.
Well, that's the one thing about run producers. When they're in a situation where they have a guy in scoring position, the big run producers do swing at pitches out of the zone. This one is borderline high. I mean, it's not egregiously high. It's pretty much right there, but he brings his hands in, stays right through it, and dumps it into right field. Grossman almost overthrows the cutoff man, which is something you really don't want to do, because if you can read a rainbow-type throw, you can take off and go to second. 1-0 Sox.
Now Yasmani will bat from the right-hand side after hitting from the left in the 2nd inning against Funkhauser. And now you get deeper into the Detroit bullpen, and that's never a bad thing in 2021. One ball, 1 strike on the cutter from Alexander, left-hander out of TCU.
Yes, has been pretty much a pull hitter from the right side. I think that's one thing he has in common from both sides.
Oh boy, right off the plate umpire Hoberg.
Well, you know, it's interesting because when a ball is fouled and a catcher knows he's not hit by it at all, he knows when he hears something that it's flush off the umpire. And that got a piece of the right shoulder of Pat Hoberg, and right away Rogers goes back and asks him if he's okay. Because if anybody can relate to it, it's the catcher sitting in front of the umpire.
Outside a changeup, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Three and 2.
So this is one combination where you would think we would not see Jose Abreu running.
No. Left-hander on the mound. Grandal at the plate.
Yes.
Struck him out. One down in the fourth inning. Here is your Sox math question for today. Hashtag Sox math. First correct answer gets to do the video tomorrow. Number of strikeouts Carlos Rodon had this year entering today, plus his career high in strikeouts in one season. You got it?
No, but I was thinking you could have kind of a Sox math on the fly if you said number of strikeouts he has currently.
Be a little tougher for a graphics department than they'd like.
Absolutely.
This in the air to left. Haas called off, and Goodrum makes the catch from shortstop. Eaton is 0 for 2, and Engel will bat.
Pretty good play, and Haas says, you know what? I know I catch most of the time, but I could have caught that. I was there. Goodrum says, let the sure man take it, and he made the play. Goodrum plays everywhere, so seeing a pop-up or a fly ball really doesn't matter to him. Last year, he was second in voting for the Gold Glove at shortstop.
Two out, Engel. Called a strike. Nice catch by Rogers that time.
Adam hit the ball very well last time.
On the changeup, long run for Cameron, but he will get there. Sox take the lead. Abreu drives in. Moncada 1-0. Bleachers and Brews, presented by Budweiser, is back for the summer. Buy one ticket, get 2 beers starting at $25. You got to be 21 and over with valid ID to purchase tickets. Visit whitesox.com/brew. One tip, Sox, and coming home tomorrow to face the Tampa Bay Rays, one of the most exciting series of the year at Guaranteed Rate Field.
Tough games coming up. We had one with Toronto. Boston's finding out just how tough that Toronto offense is, and Vlad Guerrero saved the long ball till he left our ballpark, which was kind of him. Toronto leading Boston in the early going in Boston again.
That is 5-1 at the top of the fourth. Tampa Bay has just scored to tie Baltimore in the third. It's 1-1 there. Tyler Glasnow and Lance Lynn scheduled starters tomorrow.
Boy, what a matchup that is. If you can only see one game of the series, that would be the game to see. You're going to see two of baseball's best. Lance Lynn's been outstanding this year, but Tyler Glasnow has probably as good a straight stuff as anybody in the game.
What was it? 2 years ago that we saw him at Guaranteed Rate Field? He was just unhittable.
Pretty nasty.
Two and 1 for Daz Cameron. Tigers only have one base runner on a Paredes walk in the second inning. That's a strike at 98, 2-2. What's your pleasure here, Carlos? It's a fastball that was very close.
Actually, probably caught a part of the zone, but Pat Hoberg has had a very good day. That was borderline.
Three-two fastball fouled away right side. Three and two. He struck him out. A fastball, fourth strikeout for Carlos Rodon.
Carlos has the ability to do that, and not a lot of pitchers do. Take a look at the velocity. 99. So when he needs a little extra, he just goes back and says, okay, it's there. He'll start out 94, 95. And then when he needs a bigger pitch, he certainly doesn't want to walk Cameron to lead off an inning with Cabrera coming up next. So he just reached back, got him 99, and told him to sit down.
And he did. Here is Miguel Cabrera. There is strike one. 38-year-old Miguel Cabrera. He's basically 10 to 15 years older than everybody else in this lineup other than Robbie Grossman. But you need to have one of those guys on a young team like that. James Shields was sort of that guy for the young pitching staff a couple of years ago for the Sox. Wow, very quick work. Rodon conquers Miguel Cabrera on 3.
So even in his great days, that particular sequence probably would have gotten him out, because the high heat was followed by 2 sliders that are unhittable. And the reason they're unhittable is it looks like a strike for a long time. And then you go out to get it, and it's not there. And I mean, Cabrera looked in the glove. I think he just barely tipped it, but no chance.
Strike one to Haas. Man, Carlos Rodon, he's the guy who was the 5th starter in this rotation. 5.
He also had to earn the spot.
Yep.
I mean, he was in a battle in spring training. He was in a battle with Lopez, and Ronaldo just, well, he just lost the battle fairly early, as a matter of fact, because I think when they saw, 1, Carlos was healthy, and 2, Carlos was throwing strikes, they went, well, we got to go with him. Let's see what he has. We don't know how long he'll hold up. Let's see what he has. And boy, what he has been overwhelming against everybody.
0-2 slider, pump foul.
Hitters do go back and they do talk to one another about the stuff that a guy has on a given day. And I got to believe some of the guys going back there are telling their teammates, get a fastball early, because if not, you're gone.
Oh my goodness. Sorry, it's happening so fast. You just got to get in and get the strikeout call. And then there's 3 in a row. 1-0.
Pretty good, huh?
Uh-huh. 5th inning's brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade. 1-0 Sox, top of the 5th. Carlos Rodon, 88 strikeouts entering today. That number is now 94. His career high in strikeouts, 168, 256. Your correct answer, SC in the QC. Quad Cities, I have to assume. And Southpaw had it right, too, by the way. Southpaw playing Sox math now after participating on the concourse at home. Southpaw is now playing Sox math.
He's exceptional. And the most amazing thing is finding a computer with keys that big.
I mean, how does that happen?
I mean, well, you know, he has specially made implements.
The Paw's birthday is tomorrow.
Yes.
Southpaw is playing Sox math on the day before his birthday.
He's psyched up. He's expecting a big present from you.
That may have just been it.
Something that goes with green.
What do you get him, a tree?
Get him something yellow.
Your shirt?
No, not that. This is a classic.
One ball, 2 strikes on Collins. Aspiring future Beatle. Zach hits it in the air to left center field. Daz Cameron. 1 down.
Hey, White Sox fans, Xfinity Mobile delivers fast nationwide 5G on the most reliable network. Break free from the big 3 and save with Xfinity Mobile. You know, they don't make these shirts any longer. You have to cherish these.
Oh, is that right?
I keep them around, keep them hermetically sealed. Now we have, wasn't that a movie, 50 Shades of Blue? That's kind of what we're getting now.
I think you may have that wrong.
You got one of the shades of blue, though.
I do. We're very pastel today. There's ball one. Danny Mendick playing shortstop today. Tony La Russa was asked about before the game giving guys days off. And he said, and I think this is very savvy, he said, I don't want to get into a situation where later in the year guys are out of gas because it's unfair to them. If they don't then come up big in the biggest games, they get labeled as not clutch or not big game guys, when instead it's just because they're tired after the beginning of the season.
It seems counterintuitive, but this is what most managers like to do. They like to rest their guys when you're going good, because you want to break out of any kind of slumps as quickly as possible. You don't want to start resting a whole lot of guys when your team's not playing well.
Danny Mendick gives it a ride to right field. Grossman isn't going to get there to make the catch, and Danny's got himself a base hit. One out single for Danny Mendick. Leori Garcia will bat. Thank you for joining us, Jason and Steve. Very bright. Steve Stone, you get that at the clothes mint?
No, this is a quality shirt. This has become a vintage shirt. This will one day be almost valueless.
One day it'll be valueless.
Yes.
When is that?
Well, probably right around the corner. But we were going to talk about Danny Mendick having a good game. Danny Mendick has had a good series. Yesterday was on 4 times. You'd have to say, I mean, just stepping in the way he had to step in, he's been pretty valuable.
Garcia past third, down the line it goes. Danny's on his way to third. Long run for Haas. Danny's coming home. It's an RBI. It's a 2-0 Sox lead. Leori Garcia with extra bases to double the lead.
Once again, you throw cutters, and if your third baseman is off the line, he doesn't have much of a chance. He almost gets to this, almost being the key word. Then it rattles around into the corner. Looks to me like an Elgin Hyundai double, and here comes Danny Mendick.
You want to do the read then?
No, is that?
It is.
Oh.
That's Sox Double, brought to you by Elgin Hyundai, home of the double warranty, 20 years, 200,000 miles on every new Hyundai. See ElginHyundai.com for details.
You do that so well, I didn't want to take that away from you.
Thank you. Andrew Vaughn's going to hit for Brian Goodwin. So Tony La Russa going pinch hitter in the 5th inning with the left-hander Alexander, and Tony sees this as an opportunity to pounce, it strikes me.
Well, he's got the matchup he wants. He wants Alexander against Vaughn.
And he popped it up.
He didn't want that. No, he got a good pitch to hit, just didn't hit it.
Yeah, that's one of those where you look and you say, well, you know, he popped it up, whatever it might be. It's the right play there. Up 2-0 in a game where you feel like if you pile on a little bit, you've got a guy on the mound who's going to protect your lead.
Well, you got a guy on the mound and we looked at one another during the 2nd inning and said he's got no hit stuff today.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, that's a long way to go. We've seen him do it before. However, they could get 5 hits, but the stuff today is stuff that is going to be really difficult to deal with.
That's exactly the point. I mean, the stuff is top-notch normally, but this is really crisp as there's strike 1 to Moncada, who scored the first run of the ball game. Top of the zone, that is strike 2 on Yoan. There is Carlos Rodon getting himself ready for inning number 5. 6 strikeouts, 1 walk, no hits so far. 0-2. Struck him out. Inning over. Sox pick up another run. Here comes 55. Sox fans, Len Casper and I have a new podcast. It's called Sox Degrees. No topic is off limits. Next episode is tomorrow, and it features the iconic, wonderful actor, comedian, Bob Odenkirk. Subscribe and follow on Apple and Spotify. There is if you follow on Twitter at Jason Benetti, there's a clip of Bob Odenkirk. We were talking about Bob has a new movie out where he plays an action star. He's always been a comedy guy, but he's an action star, and he trained for years to become an action star, Bob being from Naperville. And Len Casper just made the major change to go from TV to radio. So they've made big life changes, and they decided to both give me advice on what my midlife crisis should be when that comes up. So that clip is on at Jason Benetti on Twitter.
I got a much better idea.
What's that?
Professional skydiver.
You think?
Absolutely.
You think I have the chops for that?
Well, yeah. I would think so. At least once.
I'm going to pat. Yeah, once. My mom said that to me once. 2 balls and a strike on the changeup. Andrew Vaughn has moved into left for Brian Goodwin after the pinch hit in the top of the 5th. As the Sox are up 2-0. Garcia an RBI double, an RBI single from Abreu, and Carlos Rodon with brilliance so far in 4 innings. Wow. I mean, that's just dynamite down and in.
And that was a fastball. I mean, so that wasn't even his good slider, but Goodwin guessing fastball, got his fastball. He wasn't guessing zone, and that one just dove out of the zone. Carlos is not the easiest man to catch, by the way.
Slider, farewell Nico Goodrum. 4 straight strikeouts for Rodon. Subaru White Sox postgame live will come up later for a preview. Here is Chuck Garfien and Scott Podsednik, guys. Yes, indeed. Slider City in a big way, Chuck Garfien, as that fastball is just a little in. 2-0. We have not canceled the postgame show yet.
Not yet. This becomes a danger pitch, however. Paredes is a decent fastball hitter. He drew a walk last time, and he's just looking fastball.
Fouled away, 2-1.
He got his fastball, was down the middle, but it was a little harder than he would have liked.
Brian tweets in, remember, if at first you don't succeed, that skydiving isn't for you.
It's very important.
Thank you, Brian. Good advice. 2-1. Called a strike. Carlos will take it.
Little delayed call, but it had a little piece of the zone. Not a lot, but enough.
Now it sets him up for the 2-2 slider if he wants it.
If he wants it, it's there. The question is, throw the outside fastball and throw it by him.
Came right over the middle, but 100 certainly isn't square upable.
No, he's at 100 here in the 5th inning. And if you're a Sox fan, you come to Detroit, you get a souvenir on top of it and watch a gem so far by Carlos Rodon. Doesn't get a whole lot better than that.
Little one walking by saying, where'd you get that ball? I want one of those. 2-2 slider line to left. Vaughn stalks it for out number 2.
That slider was the first one that Carlos didn't get close to where he wanted it. He kept it up. That allowed Paredes to make contact. Not hit it awfully hard, but he made contact because it was a high slider.
Can I share with you that Seattle's up 5-0 on Shane Bieber today?
Still needs some more.
It's the 4th inning, though.
Yeah, knock him out. Get to that pen, especially the middle pen.
Yeah, the late pen is...
Late pen is usually pretty good.
Logan Gilbert's given up 1 hit through 3. High fastball to Castro. Change for a strike, 1-1. He hasn't thrown a lot of changeups, and most have been early in counts so far today.
They've been early when he needed a strike, which is a good sign that he's feeling good about it.
1-2 on Castro. Oh, good day, sir. Castro strikes out. 8th strikeout for Carlos Rodon. 5 of the last 6 outs have been strikeouts. And through 5, nothing in the hit column for the Tigers. Great day for Carlos Rodon today. Calling all black-owned businesses, entrepreneurs, and creative minds. Be a part of the free NBC Chicago Black and Vision Virtual Summit, Tuesday, June 22nd. Connect with industry and business experts for insights to ignite your company. Go to NBCChicago.com/blackandvision to get your free tickets now.
Got a new pitcher in the ball game. It is Buck Farmer, just back from the minor leagues, on for the 13th time. ERA is really up there.
He last pitched 3 days ago for the Toledo Mud Hens, and he is greeted by Jose Abreu on a changeup with a base hit. So this is one of those, it'll be different this time when I get to the big, it'll be different when I get to the big, it'll be different this time. Whack, base hit, first pitch.
Well, the Sox are looking for more. They want to make this as comfortable for Carlos Rodon as possible. That is that changeup. It's down, but Jose stays right with it and drives it into left field.
6th inning brought to you by Mike's Hard Lemonade Seltzer. Love a good seltzer during a day game.
Soft seltzer.
1 on, nobody out. Grandal takes a change for a strike from Farmer. Well, a half swing on a fastball to the outside corner, 0-2.
It was a good fastball, well placed.
You know the story about why they have that walkway from the mound to the plate?
I know they used to have it in olden times baseball.
Yeah, it's
Detroit carries it back.
I didn't know if there was more of a story to it than otherwise.
I have no idea.
No, I don't either. We'll get our best people on it. But old stadiums, as you said,
Yep.
used to have those quite a bit
All
to
the
walk
time.
from the plate to the mound. Called strike 3, bottom of the zone. I think Holberg just said, I've been calling it all day. That was a strike.
Yeah, it was. We will take another look at it. It had the whole plate. I mean, it wasn't borderline down. It wasn't borderline outside. It was actually right there.
Generally, very good day behind the plate for Holberg.
I think I might have figured out why they have that.
Why is that?
Because I think in the old days, in the game of baseball, they probably didn't have a lot of ways to take great care of the infields. And the man who walked to the mound the most was the catcher, because they had unlimited trips. So if anything went on, the catcher would have to walk to the mound. They didn't want to kill the grass, so they gave him a walkway.
I'm also reading a story that suggests that maybe it was easier for umpires to see the path of the baseball over a darker surface than the grass.
Boy, if you're looking down at the ground to see a fastball up, you got a problem.
I agree with you. Just telling you what I'm reading. Ground ball to shortstop and nobody home. Eaton's going to be safe on a slow tapper. And Goodrum had no play. Adam beats it out.
I'd like to see Adam get a base hit. He could really use one. Been struggling, but it hits the heel of the glove, bounces up, and then got no chance. Well, Adam's sniffing a base hit. I mean, he thinks he can beat this out even if he fields it cleanly. And it is a hit.
Two on, one out. Adam Engel. Inside ball one. Well, if you're A.J. Hinch and you got through 5 in a bullpen game at 2-0.
Yeah. You could consider it very fortuitous. However, I think Adam's going to hit this ball hard, and maybe Sox can add to their lead. He's been right on most everything. He popped up the last one, but other than that, he's had a good run offensively.
Abreu at second, Eaton at first. Two and 0, Farmer to Engel. Fastball drilled, left field side. This is hooking. Foul.
Wonder if that's the one I saw. But anyway, unfortunately, got out a little too quickly. He got the pitch he was looking for at 2-0, and I mean, he really unloaded on it, and was fouled by a pretty decent margin. It's still 345 down the line. It's not a cheap home run down the line in left field in Detroit. Right field, you can hit it there. It's not all that far, especially to right center, where you have the low wall and you have pretty cozy dimensions.
And he hits him with a changeup. So Adam hit the fastball so hard he got a changeup and it was way inside. So bases loaded, 1 out for the Sox in the 6th.
We'll watch it again, and he turns it over, catches him on the elbow. Adam does not have a padded up elbow, but hopefully he's okay. Last thing he really needs is any type of injury. Chris Fetter goes out to have a word. Buck Farmer in a jam. Sox looking for more.
Yeah, Farmer so far has been refuted. The Sox do not have his interests at heart. It is 2-0, bases loaded, 1 out in the 6th. And Zach Collins, who's 1 for 2, he hit a ball very hard yesterday for a double late in the game.
So with Pat Hoberg going out there to break it up, Fetter decides that he has had his say. There's nobody up in the bullpen, as you would expect. Farmer just was called back, so he can go some innings if he can last those innings. And A.J. Hinch wants to squeeze as much out of him as he can.
Tigers do play tomorrow. They're in Kansas City, so no off day between series for either team. Then they're off to Anaheim after the trip to Kansas City. So a road trip looming as it's 0-2 on Collins. Big couple of at-bats for Zach and Danny here. Off the mitt of Rogers. Fastball after fastball.
Playing him as a dead pull hitter, as you can see. At times, Zach has been able to hit that ball to left center field. However, when you don't play all the time, again, it's hard to have that stroke for sure.
Good change. Strike 3. 2 down.
This one has the plate. We'll watch it again, and even though Rogers did bring it back, he didn't have to. It's there.
That's a really good pitch on 2 strikes.
It is that.
So Danny Mendick, bases loaded, 2 out in the 6th.
One of the key at-bats for the game right here. Danny can make things a lot more comfortable if he can get aboard.
Pop foul, strike 1. Farmer seems more confident in the fastball after the angle at bat. One ball, 1 strike. Sox have left 4 on so far in the game, scoring in the 4th on the Abreu RBI single, in the 5th on the Garcia RBI double. Change up again, 1 and 2.
Got a good feel for that changeup today. I mean, it's been a good pitch for him. Jose was able to wait back on it. That's the one tarnish to the changeup in this inning, but by and large, he's deceiving a few of the Sox hitters.
He hit him. Changeup lost its way, and the Sox take a 3-0 lead.
Every run a big run, and Danny Mendick drives in his 12th. He's aboard for the 2nd time today after getting aboard 4 times last night. There's the change. And fortunately, it hits most of the padding. Got some of the arm, but not much of it. Yeah, when you pad up the lead elbow, you don't mind taking one off the lead elbow, driving home a run.
Big spot for Leori Garcia, 3-0, and a first pitch outside, ball 1. Two balls, no strikes. So he got the changeup, he lost the changeup. He got it again, and he lost it again.
Yep.
Should be a fastball here, you'd imagine.
That's the one thing he's had confidence in, and usually the confidence comes with a fastball away. See what Rogers wants.
It is a fastball away. It's 3-0. You're not swinging here, are you?
Well, what
Say
I like
no.
to tell you is if he is, there'll be an investigation. No, I don't think so. But patience isn't Leary's long suit. But he's taken 3 here.
.30. That's outside. It's another brought in run without a swing. And it's 4-0 Sox. A plunking for a run, a 4-pitch walk for a run, and the answers are still to be found in the Tiger bullpen.
That one missed outside. Leary in the leadoff spot, driving in 2 today.
And now Andrew Vaughn gets another chance after pinch hitting in the 5th. takes a strike. And if anybody that's in the crowd today was in the crowd yesterday, they still have some Bronx cheers remaining. Changeup 0-2. Carlos Rodon, 5 scoreless, 5 no hits so far.
He's trying to keep loose.
Long inning, 8 batters for the offense. And Vaughn skies this one foul, first base side. It is playable for Castro. Sox get a couple more, 4-0. Carlos back out next.
Time now for the T-Mobile coverage cam, and it is the day of Carlos Rodon, and so far it's been unbelievably good. His stuff right from the beginning today has been overwhelming. Whether it's a slider, he's hit 100 on the fastball, he gets changes early in the count over. You look at that line, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, and a bunch of zeros.
Rogers takes a curveball, 1-0. Not there, 2-0, close pitch. Carlos Rodon walked Paredes in the second inning. That's the only base runner for the Tigers so far today. Right back in the strike zone, and another swing and miss, 2-1. Rogers swings at pitches more than anybody else in the Tigers lineup. He is very willing to expand the strike zone. He takes strike 2 there.
Well, look, when you see 99 and it's at the knees on the outside corner, you can be forgiven for not swinging because you can't hit it anyway, so you might as well hope that you get the call.
'99 top of the zone, still 2-2. Skyward right-hand side. Adam Eaton.
Today's game is brought to you by Marquette Bank. Since 1945, Marquette Bank has worked to improve the lives of neighbors, families, and business owners. They're a modern neighborhood bank with online banking, mobile banking, and digital home financing. Better than that, they're a bank that cares about your success and our communities. Discover neighborhood banking that feels good at emarquettebank.com.
One down for Harold Castro, lefty in a first pitch ball. Slider, this to second base, and Garcia for out number 2. Push the Sox to the top this summer with the 2021 Google MLB All-Star Ballot. Vote daily at MLB.com/vote and on Google by searching for your favorite players to send them to Colorado.
That one, I think, got Carlos's heart starting a little bit because that's about the hardest ball that the Tigers have hit today. Harold Castro has proven to be a good hitter. I mean, that was a slider. He stayed right with it, hit it hard, but Leury Garcia was right there to make the play.
Two out, Robbie Grossman takes a curveball up and out. So Carlos twice this inning has tried the first pitch curveball, and twice it's ended up well up and outside to a right-handed batter. Change up 2-0 for Grossman. Yesterday, the conversation started all the way back in the 4th inning about Dylan Cease possibly coming out of the game because of such a large lead. Cease ended up going 5. Then Burr and Foster closed the game with 2 innings each. A little bit high, 3-0 on Grossman. Swinging here?
No, he is not swinging. But if this is in the zone, he'll be swinging at the next one.
Down the middle, 3-1.
This is a pitch he's looking for, and he's looking fastball, and he's looking for it middle in.
Fouled off of Collins, 3-2.
Boy, that stung him in. So Ed Hoberg, who's had it happen today, wants to give him a little extra time. Right off the right shoulder, it looked like. Yep, chest shoulder area.
So trying to get feeling in his fingers, it looked like.
Yeah. They give you that nice chest protector, but it's not exactly foolproof.
3-2 to Grossman. It's inside, and it's ball 4. Grossman takes a 2-out walk. "77 pitches through 5 2/3 for Carlos Rodon." It's a fine pace. Maybe a little bit high.
Well, if you're going to strike out a lot of guys, I mean, you're just going to have that pitch count rise.
First pitch, changeup, sky to left. Vaughn is on it for round number 3. Well, we got drama again. 9 outs to get.
Rep the South Side anywhere, anytime. With the My Teams app, you can listen to podcasts, read articles from Sox insiders, and more. Download the My Teams app today. Joe Jimenez comes into the ball game. We've seen him a couple times in this series. He's on for the 15th time. His ERA 9.28. As you can see, when generally you have more walks than strikeouts, it's not a great thing. Yet you can see the hitters don't hit him very well.
Maybe because few of the pitches are hittable. Just spitballing here. Ball 1 to Moncada.
You might have a point there.
You think I'm onto it?
You might have a point there.
Seventh inning brought to you by the Illinois Department of Transportation, and this ball is transported to third. 1 down in the 7th. So now Jose Abreu, who met Farmer with a single off a changeup in the 6th. Threw him a first pitch changeup, and Jose took that one.
Jose's got 5 hits in the series. It sounds like a great series and would be for anyone, but he usually really tortures Tiger pitchers, especially with the long ball.
That was not in the right spot, and Jose pumps it to right center. This is one hop off the wall, and Abreu on a low fastball smokes it to right center for a 1-out double.
111.3 miles an hour off the bat, and there's not a lot of parks in baseball that would have held this one. This just happens to be one of them. 420 to straightaway center. Jose really cranks this. I mean, that's out in most every park, probably in the big leagues, but not this one.
1 on, 1 out, Yasmani Grandal. Strike call. Nice stop by Rogers, 1-1.
That was a good effort because that could have easily gotten away. It did not.
Yasmani doesn't appreciate his baseball bat so much right now. This is Goodrum from shortstop for out number 2. Bring your group out to a White Sox game this season and receive specially priced tickets along with a great experience. We have private spaces for corporate outings, family get-togethers, and more. For more information, visit whitesox.com/groups. Grab some nachos, potentially watch some history. Eat some ice cream, catch a no-hitter. 6 innings deep, Carlos Rodon has no-hit the Tigers so far as Eaton takes a strike.
We want to send along best wishes to a great broadcaster, terrific guy, Jerry Remy, who left the broadcast booth in that series against Toronto. He broadcast for years for the Red Sox, played for them for years. Legendary amongst Red Sox fans, and hopefully he gets better. He's had a lot of health challenges and still shows up at the ballpark, still does baseball games, and not only well loved, he's just a really good broadcaster, and they've got a great broadcast team with the Red Sox. So Jerry, hurry back.
Yeah, it was the 3rd inning the other day. He felt shortness of breath and had to leave. Dennis Eckersley was in the booth as well. They usually do a 3-man booth with Dave O'Brien. And I feel the same. Jerry's always been great to me, and he's a great announcer and beloved in New England.
Yeah, that's he is legendary. He was a really good player, but really legendary more so because of what he's done in the booth since retiring.
Right side, nice pick by Castro. And that will do it. Carlos Rodon has 9 outs to get with a 4-0 lead on the board. Time to get you caught up, presented by Bob Locurcio Auto Group. And we will start with this from Jose Abreu, an RBI single in the 4th inning. That broke a scoreless draw, and it scored Yoan Moncada, who had doubled to lead the inning off. Then Leori Garcia down the 3rd baseline, and it was 2-0 Sox. The lead built from there for Carlos Rodon.
Carlos Rodon has been absolutely brilliant. There's been 1, possibly 2 hard hit balls. That's been it. And what a year he's putting together. I mean, from start to the 7th inning, he has been brilliant most of the time. He's at 78 pitches. You can read the graphic. Carlos once again with one of those already in his pocket. Going after another, and believe me, he's thinking about it.
Well, for Carlos Rodon, it was redemption the first time around back on April the 14th. It was, hey, I'm here and I can throw like this. He did not have that stockpile of starts from this season to say, this is going to be a turnaround year. That was a trumpet fanfare of what the turnaround might be. This one just simply flows from what we've seen over the past 2.5 months.
In last time out, he only went 5 innings. And Hopefully he's got some stuff left in the tank.
Miguel Cabrera looks at a slider. He had seen first pitch fastballs the other 2 times. Check swing, slider in, 1 ball, 1 strike. 38-year-old future Hall of Famer Miguel Cabrera.
I don't know how he checked his swing. I mean, literally that one might have been an edge away from the edge.
Fastball foul, 1-2. 2 walks in the game for the Tigers. Grossman in the 6th, Paredes in the 2nd.
So it's interesting here because the way he's been handled so far, Cabrera's probably thinking he's getting a slider. He's going to get a slider. Question is, what can he do with it? And Carlos wanted to take just a little time for himself.
There is a slider. It's fouled off of Cabrera. Carlos would have run that to first himself.
Yeah, the last thing that Cabrera wanted was to foul one, especially one of those biting sliders to come up and bite him, but that's what happened.
You go back to the slider here?
Yeah, and not to get him out, just to test his leg. See if he's feeling okay.
You're one of the kind and gentle pitchers.
Might as well go back in there. Let's see what Yaz wants. He wants one of those.
1-2.
Collins, excuse me.
Nice catch. Strike 3. 1 gone.
Well, that wasn't the back foot slider. That one was out and away, but it still was a strike. And I think that's what Pat Hoberg is telling him. Look, it wasn't one of his usual, but it had the plate. And Zach Collins just shows it to him. We'll watch it again. It's got the plate. I mean, that's a good call. And Pat Hoberg really has been at the top of his game this entire game.
1 down for Haas. 8 outs to get. First pitch, slider, strike, top of the zone. Fastball, 0-2. Carlos Rodon, all the way back to high school, was the type of guy who would throw you 90, 91, early 92, whatever it was that he had. And then by the end of the game, he'd be pinging 99, 100, or whatever the top of his range was at that time in his development. One, 2. High slider, 2 balls, 2 strikes. So now 87 pitches through 6 1/3.
He's left a couple of sliders up where he didn't want to. So right now he wants to just kind of take a breath, gather himself, as they say. He has a good but not an overwhelming lead at this point. He's just thinking about getting Haas out. Oh, yes.
Oh, wow. That was a beautiful slider.
Pat, that's one of the best ones he's thrown today. And I think Zach Collins is letting him know, you know what, Pat, you had a great game. This just wasn't a great call.
3-2 coming now, and it's fouled away. .81 degrees at first pitch at Comerica Park for Tony La Russa and the White Sox. His lefty on the mound, a 3-2 pitch. Popped up, foul ground, first base side. This will hit the seats. So it was on April the 14th. Capacity was still 20% at Guaranteed Rate Field. 7148 saw it. and at first pitch time it was 45 degrees. And as the globe turns and as we move along in a baseball season, it was 81 at the jump today, and Carlos Rodon is doing what he did a couple of months ago.
He's got the confidence to throw a slider here.
There it is. Haas to left field. Vaughn is back. Andrew can't get there. First hit for the Tigers is on the warning track, and it's Haas for Detroit, breaking up the no-hitter with 1 out in the 7th. Off the slider, a pitch he's allowed 3 hits on this entire season.
Well, I think he might have been talking with Pat Hoberg and saying, hey, look, you missed that one. This guy should be out. Instead, he breaks it up. It's a good effort by Vaughn. He just can't get to it. Long run for him. And, yep, it comes to an end. And then he has a little chat with Pat Hoberg. And I think he's saying, you know what, I had him. And Pat might have even said, maybe I missed that one.
Yep. He's had a great day so far behind the plate. That was a rare miss from Pat Hoberg, but it turns into a double, and now the game is at the forefront again, and Carlos goes to the backstop on a fastball.
I think sometimes, and could have been a throw at third base. I mean, Haas got a pretty good jump on it, but it carried him right back to Collins. If it were a closer game, I think Ethan Katz would go out after that no-hitter and just give him a breath and say, look, you still got to get some people out. This is not a walkover yet. It's only a 4-run lead.
Well, Andrew Vaughn in left gave it everything, and he had a long way to go.
It's not really a catchable ball.
One 1 ball, 2 strikes. Carlos was trying to become a part of an even smaller club than the one he's already in with the 1 no-hitter. High slider lifted into right center, and Engel makes the catch. The Tigers have their first run on a sac fly from Goodrum, and it's 4-1 in the 7th.
Shutout goes by the boards. But Carlos just wants to win this ball game, and now maybe it's a lot easier for Tony La Russa not to let him pile up his pitch count, because, you know, we got to have Carlos healthy this season, and he's coming off 2 years where he just didn't throw very much. You just don't want to extend that pitch count all that often if you don't have to. He's got a no-hitter. It's a different story. He doesn't, and now you try to save him some pitches.
I was thinking that same thing when I pointed out the 87 pitches, that could it be a silver lining here? You don't want to see him get to 120 in a game like this.
No, again, if he's thrown a no-hitter, you can't make a case for taking him out, but he's not now, and the case, I think, is made.
Yeah, you'd love for him to have thrown a second no-hitter. There have only been a grand total of a handful of guys who've done it, but Johnny Vandermeer being one of them.
But also, we're in June, and his stuff every time out, he's got that kind of stuff.
That's right.
So, can it happen again? It certainly can. You'd like to see it perhaps when his arm is still strong. But the key is to keep his arm strong all the way through.
It's 5 guys: Johnny Vandermeer, Allie Reynolds, 1951, Virgil Trucks, Nolan Ryan in 73, and then Max Scherzer did it most recently in 2015, the former Tiger. 2-2 is high. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
100 pitches, and Carlos would like to finish this with a flourish.
How'd you like to play with house money in the no-hitter category, though? I already got one. Why not try to get a second one, is what was happening for the last couple of hours in Detroit.
Nice catch.
Play.
Very nice. That's why you bring your glove, because you never know when you're going to get close enough to use it.
Soak it in.
Looks like a clever ruse to take a picture of the baseball and then steal the ball while he's looking the other way.
That's right. 3-2 slider lifted toward third, and now Vaughn in the corner is not going to get there. What's the moment feel like right after you give up a no-hitter?
I've seen many times with guys giving up a no-hitter, especially late, they wind up getting taken out of the game because the air goes out of the balloon.
3-2 fastball. Carlos says thank you. Adam Eaton from right makes a catch. He's going to run down Leury Garcia. To the eighth we go. 4-1 Sox.
Volkswagen, and it is Tampa Bay coming to town for a 3-game series, which should be a dandy. Then it's on to Houston for 4. You get the off day, Pittsburgh for 2, another off day, and then Seattle comes to town. So our Verizon projected starters. This is for the series against the Rays. Going to be Lance Lynn. Boy, that's going to be a good one. Tyler Glasnow going in that first game. Dallas Keuchel in the game in between. And Lucas Giolito to finish it out in a day game on Wednesday.
Then after that series with the Rays and then the one with the Astros, to close before the All-Star break, Pirates, Mariners, Twins, Tigers, Twins, Orioles. There is a major chance before the All-Star break for the Sox to pile up a division lead that isn't a fortress, but it could be substantial. Now, it's a long road trip right before the break. That makes it tougher. But those are all teams with losing records after the Houston series.
Brian Garcia comes into the ballgame on for the 23rd time. ZRA of 470. In this series, at least, he's thrown well against us. Control for him also is a factor. You know, when I talked to Tony about going forward, he said, we've got some tough games coming up. He said, let's see where we stand after those games. And that included the Toronto series, which the Sox won 2 of 3. And this series, as well as, of course, Tampa and Houston.
Angle to center. Look, with that schedule on the back end of that, if you go 4-3 or even 3-4 against Tampa Bay and Houston,
yeah, it would
take and run with it.
No, that would be pretty good.
And I know when you have one of the best records in the American League, you'd like better. But with that pocket behind those 7 right before the All-Star break, if you could build up to, say, a 7 or 8 game lead before the break, that would be a highly ideal scenario. And the one piece of that is, if you can deliver the knockout punch to the Twins in those couple series before the break, you can force them into thinking about selling and trading for prospects and make sure that not only maybe for this year, but for next year, they are in a little bit of retool mode. Who knows?
Well, I think they're thinking about that right now.
I agree.
I believe that. And, you know, they have some tradable commodities.
But I would say this as well. I agree with you. As that ball smoked to right field on a line at Grossman by Zach Collins. You know, the Sox with those games against Minnesota, if Minnesota were to sweep those games and were to have some momentum going into the break, then they might think about not selling. So you have a chance to, even if you split them with Minnesota, you can keep them down there.
Well, just like every other team, you've got to see who is eligible for free agency next year, because It gets to the point where it's almost a pipe dream to think that you can get back into it when you're 12, 13, 14 games back, and you don't want to see a guy walk out the door and get nothing for him.
But if you're six back, five back, it's hard to convince your fans to go ahead and sell.
But they won't be.
No.
No, I mean, I
know that, but there are
that
7 games against the Sox, and I'm saying if they were to sweep those 7 games against the Sox, then they're 6 or 7 back.
I understand the concept.
I'm doing more Sox math in the 4th. I know the probability is they won't be.
Yeah.
But the probability of the Sox being 12-4 the day after a key player gets injured is probably pretty small too, and that's why we watch.
Let's hope we don't have to add to that.
I don't know how many more scares there can be. I hate even saying that because you're asking for it.
Toronto is piling it on the Red Sox in Boston, 16-3, heading into the bottom of the 7th.
That's a little high. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Mendick.
In that game of big interest, Seattle now leads 5-1. That game heading into the bottom of the 7th in Cleveland.
I was going to mention that to you, but then you would have said to me, well, I don't want to hear about it until it's over.
No, I'm very concerned with that. Go Mariners.
Foul ball. Angle was off and running.
Catchers are more.
You okay?
They're more exposed on that play than any other play, which is the runner going, and they have to get up from their crouch to try to make a throw. Then the ball gets fouled off, and there's a good portion of them exposed to anything to hit them.
Two and two.
Evan Marshall losing in the pen.
You got a hose. Literally.
They're the firemen.
It's a do-it-yourself bullpen they got in Detroit. In case you have a weekend project you'd like to take care of.
In case you get a brush fire spreading through your bullpen, you can put it out.
Well, you know, people doing those gender reveals sometimes can spark major fires in bullpens. Angle runs again. Danny fouls it away again. Two. Another foul ball. Evan Marshall looks like he's going to come in. He would face 7, 8, and 9. Castro, Rogers, and Castro. They do your taxes, if you ask.
And a fine job they do.
2-2. Danny takes outside and low. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, if you're willing to run a couple of times earlier in the count, Adam Engel is going to be going here. So watch for the best move that Garcia has.
Three and two. Mendick skies it. Cameron. 2 down for Garcia. Houston's up 3-0 on Minnesota in the top of the 5th inning. That is Framber Valdez for Houston, and 4 innings of Michael Pineda. Randy Dobnak has put down the Uber app.
Valdez has nice stuff.
Yeah,
he's a good one.
Urquidy's really good too for the Astros. He's got very good
And
stuff.
Garcia. I mean, they're slowly rebuilding a staff that largely has gotten hurt or gone other places with some young homegrown guys or guys acquired in deals.
Garcia to Garcia. Ball 1. Comerica Park, on the site of the old Detroit Law School. They had to move the law school. Well, the law school had moved already, but this is on the site of the former Detroit Law School.
They did build themselves a nice-looking park.
Very much so. Garcia, right-hand side. Will the recovery be in time? No. Castro to Castro. And Garcia's safe, hustling down the line, angle to second base. Might be worth a challenge. We'll see.
They're certainly going to take a look at it this late in the game. Safe, though.
Safe. Ball, but no foot.
They're yelling he was out from the stands. You can hear him with our mic. Nah, he wasn't. He's safe.
Look, they're a little salty. They're 12 under 500.
Yeah.
Pretty good recovery by Harold Castro to get up and get back to the bag. So, pitch by Garcia, the hit by Garcia, 2 plays by Castro to Castro. And the Twins are not involved in the game.
No, they have their hands full. Not like the Bostons, who are fighting back in that one. It's now 16-4.
Okay. Here they come.
It's not over.
Never over. 1 ball, 1 strike for Andrew Vaughn.
Yankees have really run into some difficulties. They're trailing Philadelphia 7-0 in Philadelphia. Aaron Nola, the fine starter for the Phillies, started that ball game.
That is, I believe, Domingo Germán. It is for the Yankees. Andrew Vaughn cracks it to right field to the warning track, and Grossman runs it down to strand a pair. Sox are up 4-1. Bottom 8 coming. Xfinity Mobile high-speed action, and it's Carlos Rodon today. 7 innings, 1 hit, 1 run. The slider was absolutely filthy. That one clipped the outside corner, and it was a slider that gave up the 1 hit on a fly ball to left field. Andrew Vaughn was playing around toward the alleyway. But a grand total of 9 strikeouts, and Carlos leaves to a standing ovation from all the Sox fans behind the dugout, and he turns it over to Evan Marshall, the veteran, out of the bullpen with a now 5.70 ERA. He will face 7, 8, and 9 in the Tigers lineup in his 24th game of this 2021 season.
Still a decent strikeout to walk ratio, and left-handers haven't hurt him at all because of that straight change.
Ball 1 to Willie Castro. 6 outs to get for the Sox, looking for a sweep of the Tigers this afternoon. Inside again, 2 balls, no strikes. Like Gregory Soto getting loose in the Tiger bullpen.
We haven't seen him, and he's one of the mainstays in the back end. Lefty that throws 100, but has some spotty control at times.
There's the changeup on 2-0, and it's the equalizer for Evan Marshall. This to Engel, and one gone as we go to the studio for a preview of Subaru White Sox postgame live. Scotty Pods and Chuck Garfien. Will you tell us who it is? Oh, how about that? I see. I can't wait. Chuck and Scotty Pods will have Subaru White Sox postgame live. Tony La Russa in search of win number 41. Curveball snaps in for strike 2.
Evan Marshall is really important to the bullpen, and so getting him squared away is priority number 1 for Kurt Hassler out there, for Ethan Katz. They want to make sure that he's throwing some semblance of what he did last year. If that's the case, he makes a great bridge to the back end. Whether that bridge is eventually Bummer to Hendricks, Crochet to Hendricks, whatever it is to Hendricks, Marshall's going to play a big part in that.
Two and two. Great changeup. Strike 3. 2 down, and time for a message for Powering Chicago.
Whether it's lighting up Chicago or helping a neighbor in need, Powering Chicago's commitment to better construction, better careers, and better communities never quits. Powering Chicago, IBEW Local 134, NECA, Chicago.
He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. We thank you for joining us. Sox are up 4-1 over the Tigers, bottom of the 8th inning. Evan Marshall against Harold Castro, who hit a ball hard in the 6th inning. And he takes a curve for a strike.
Harold just looks like a very accomplished hitter. And that batting average came in at .290. Only had 2 opportunities, but when you hit the ball hard against a left-hander who had the stuff of Carlos, that was a job well done, and Carlos did not strike him out. The irony is, on a day when he fanned 9, he didn't strike out the lone left-hander in the lineup, and there is Gregory Soto getting loosened up. Juan Nieves, their pitching coach, and member of the White Sox family for a while.
One, two. Oh, got him on a filthy changeup near the dirt. Strong inning for Evan Marshall. To the 9th we go. Head to the ballpark starting tomorrow, June 14th through the 16th, Monday to Wednesday. Sox and the Rays. Single game tickets are on sale right now. Plus, promos are back. Secure your spot and catch all the action at home. For tickets and the promo schedule, visit WhiteSox.com. Tampa Bay and the Sox will both be in first place when that series starts tomorrow.
Gregory Soto comes into the ball game on for the 30th time, so he's been pretty busy. 5 for 5 in save opportunities. He got overwhelming stuff, but 17 walks and 25 2/3 isn't great.
Moncada first takes a ball inside. In the 9th inning, the Tigers will have the top of the order: Grossman, Cameron, and Cabrera. One and one. Jimenez 1 inning 1 hit. Garcia 1 inning 2 hits. The Sox got to Alexander and Farmer for the 4 runs in this game.
And look, Yuan got things started because it was tough and tight early. Not much to choose from. Only 1 hit through the first 3 innings for either team. That obviously was by the Sox. That was Zach Collins. But you once doubled to lead off the 4th inning, allowed Abreu to come up right after him and plate the first run of the game, give the Sox the lead.
Liam Hendricks getting loose for a possible save situation. You would imagine if the Sox scored a couple, he wouldn't be deployed in this game.
No, if they can put 2 up, I don't think he will come in unless he feels he needs an inning of work. But last time for him, he wants to make amends for it was that very, very soggy opening game of the series that had that delay in the 9th inning, and he happened to be on the mound at the time, throwing soggy baseballs.
Goodrum. Tag. 1 down. So now Abreu, who is 6 for 14 in the series and 3 for his last 3. Outside ball 1. Little quick pitch, 1-1.
He does that a lot, by the way. I mean, with nobody on, you don't have to worry about how quickly you get it there, and he will vary his timing to try to disrupt the hitter's timing.
Slider vaulted left-hand side near the infield, and Goodrum again for out number 2. And we invite you to experience a game this season from the Goose Island located in right field. Features a variety of seating options, easy access to the Craft Cave, and more. Available for group outings as well. For more information, call or text 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com/island. Picture time. We went, what, 12 months without being able to ask random strangers to take a picture of us? Hey, would you mind?
And here you go. You can take a picture of me. Would you mind putting your phone in that vat of alcoholic something or others?
Right.
Before you hand it back.
Use these 6 wipes, please. And don't come near me. It's better this way. We like the openness.
It's
2-1.
Yeah, kind of nice as the world heads back to some semblance of normal, and the fans get to come to the ballpark. Cody Hoyer throwing.
Every shot we have of that bullpen, it looks more and more like a construction site. 2-2. Little spinorama from Soto after the pitch. You have come to the wrong ballpark. The Mariners, sir, are playing
Just
one
down
state
the
away.
road. Very close, by the way. That is a very close drive, Detroit to Cleveland.
Ball 4, 2-out walk for Yaz. Seattle's up 5-1 in the 8th against Cleveland.
It's a popular score because Houston leads Minnesota 5-1.
If only the Giants would score a run against the Nationals, it would be 5-1 there.
They'd have 3 of them.
The intrigue is endless. Eaton shows bunt and takes a ball. And now a little dusting of the plate by Pat Hoberg. Miguel Cairo having a laugh with Tony La Russa. Miguel's having the laugh. You ever tell a joke you think is the funniest thing you ever heard? 2 balls and no strikes on Eaton. Other guy just doesn't quite get it.
No, and then you believe you're speaking in a foreign language to him.
There's a bunt. Third base side of the mound. Soto lets it rip and safe the call at first. Castro gave everything to pick it, and Eaton beat it out, at least for now, pending replay.
Soto did the best he could possibly do, and Adam, against a very tough left-hander, decides to bunt. He's safe. He always does that and always did do that. He touches the front of the bag right there. That's what he actually shoots for, to be able to beat close plays at first base. Watch it again. He's on the bag. He beats the play. But that's because he went after the front part of the bag. If he gets the bag in the middle, he's out on that play. So just that little bit, a game of nuance, just that little bit allowed him to pick up the base hit. And that's his second of the day. He is showing how that expended energy trying to beat that one is getting his heart beating. I like the fact, Soto's a tough lefty. I like the fact that he was able to lay it down and beat the play.
Yeah, lefty like that, I did.
And Soto, by the way, did about as good as he could do. Couldn't get it there in time.
Oh, 1. Adam takes down and in. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Scoring the 2 runs in the 6th inning without the benefit of a hit really makes this game a whole lot more comfortable.
Yeah, bases loaded hit batter, bases loaded walk. And now Adam slashes this ball to center field, but that expansive center eats it up. Cameron makes the catch. Sox will go to the 9th, up by 3.
Presented by First Midwest Bank. You see, if you have no momentum, you can't really change it. And the Tigers had 0 momentum. They got slaughtered yesterday. They came in with less than no momentum. So Carlos said, well, as long as you have none, I'm not going to give you any. And just kept throwing slider after slider. 100-mile-an-hour fastballs, doing everything he could to win this ball game. Eventually giving up the lone hit, a double in the 7th inning, and that's it. He left the game, and now it's in the capable hands of Liam Hendriks, going after his 17th save, and this is 20th attempt.
Well, Liam the other night gave up that home run to Daz Cameron, and if we know Liam Hendriks even a little bit since he's come over from Oakland, it is simply that he is itching to get out there on any day. But you know he wanted to throw today just to get the taste out of his mouth from that home run on Friday night.
You know, there were a few people who criticized his demeanor that particular night for not wanting to throw that particular baseball. But the reality is that it was unplayable. It was pouring. The field was getting worse and worse as it was. It took about 25 minutes to get the field back into playing condition because the infield took so much water. But more importantly, if he can't grip the baseball, there's no hitter wants to be up there if the pitcher can't grip the baseball. And, you know, that was still a 2-run game. I think Liam was absolutely right saying, you know, shut this down for a while. Don't worry, eventually it'll end. It always has. We got that going for us.
1 ball, 1 strike from Hendriks to Grossman. Here's what it looked like, just in case you're saying, well, should he have played through this?
I mean, and by the way, the rain just didn't start that minute. The rain had been coming down for a while, and then it just kept getting worse and worse. And Liam said, every time I get a baseball from the umpire, the pouch they're kept in was soaked, and it was coming to him wet.
Ooh, slider, 1 and 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ooh, slider. 3-2. Liam Hendriks, big football fan, complaining about the tuck rule. Tom Brady, weather involved in that play as well. Three and two. Fastball fouled away.
Save situation, even one that closers really like, which is a 3-run save and a clean inning. But it's never easy, and if you don't get the leadoff man, it becomes that much tougher.
Three-two. Struck him out on a slider. I thought Liam was just going to go ahead and walk to Windsor.
Well, he had kind of the primal scream coming up after that slider. Figures if I get a slider close, I got him. He thought that earlier in the count, but couldn't get it close enough. And that time, he comes roaring off the mound.
What do you think?
I think he got him.
You said yesterday you liked going to the zoo on the road trips. One down. First pitch is outside, ball one. It is amazing how internally he is ready and focused and locked in, and then externally he is just all over the emotional map.
Well, the article I read about him was really interesting, saying that he was just teetering on being a failed starter. Had a fastball anywhere from 91 to 93. We saw him with the Twins. I mean, really, the stuff was marginal at best. He was on his way out, and then changed everything about how he prepared. Sleep patterns, better nutrition, a much different workout regimen.
Fastball in the air, right-hand side. This is out number 2.
And Liam then bumped up that fastball at times to 99, anywhere from 97 to 99. And just, he's a completely different pitcher. Decided that, you know what, maybe 9 innings, maybe 6 innings isn't the best for me. Maybe going to the back end. And they tried it in Oakland, and it really worked for him, and he's carried that dominance into this season.
Well, he's yet another guy who, when he was in the minor leagues and he was struggling as a starter, he was a sinker baller. And he decided to ditch the sinker and find the 4-seam fastball, which is a high-octane fastball now. Rather than seeking contact, he's trying to miss bats, and he does it at a very high clip.
There has been a few pitchers over the years that have reinvented themselves while they're still major league pitchers. Reinvented themselves, and it turned into gold, and certainly Liam Hendriks is a shining example of that.
Slider in the air, right field side. Eaton makes the catch, and the Sox, as you heard from Liam Hendriks, have a sweep in Detroit, 4-1 today, to cap off 3 in a row in the Motor City.
So this was a terrific series. A lot went right for the boys, and today Carlos Rodon was just perfect. Just lost in this victory, in this sweep. Don't forget about this 1 inning by Evan Marshall, because he's going to be one of the keys to that bullpen, and he threw a terrific 8th inning, and he was the man used to get the ball to Liam Hendriks. And when your starting pitcher leaves you only 6 outs, it works really well.
A 1-hitter for Carlos Rodon and the guys, and the Sox have win number 41. They will be at least 4.5 up on Cleveland when we see you tomorrow at against Tampa Bay at Guaranteed Rate Field.
And a big series, an exciting series. Get your rest.
See you tomorrow.
Okay.
For our entire wonderful crew, our producer Chris Withers, our director Andrew Blaustein, our associate producer Tamara Anderson, and everybody back in the control room, Joe Grube, our stage manager. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. Farewell. Time now for Subaru White Sox postgame live. Chuck Garfine, Scotty Pods. Somebody's moonwalking. Take it away, guys.